decided to have this in mind when I discussed with my teacher concerning this blood sugar awareness campaign, because we've been having current cases of even young people going down with high blood sugar, and it's trending. Last time we did the one for high blood pressure. Now we've discovered that high blood sugar and high blood pressure, they are easily tied. One person can have very high blood pressure and also like they are together like twins. So today I've written out this ranges. This FBS means fasting blood sugar. Why this RBS means random blood sugar. For this one is when you've not eaten. But considering the time, so it's within the range of when you wake up, maybe from 4 a.m. to 5 a.m., 6, but before 8. So it's already past 8. So what we do is we are going to be using these ranges for random. Maybe some of us are going to eat Christmas, some may not have eaten, but because it's already past 8, there's what they call glucogenesis has already taken place. So I believe most of us break down of glucose store in the liver. So that will not give us the real values of the fasting blood sugar. If we were to do it that very early, around 7, but which would have not been possible because we have to do our devotion. So for now, we'll be using this ranges. So whenever I check you, because I'll be doing the checking, we'll be using this ranges to check if it is below this value, then we are having a low blood sugar, which also has its own effects. If it is high, it is a high blood sugar. Now, I'll just quickly explain what the blood sugar is. We can use an illustration like a fuel. If you have very low fuel in your generator, it will go up high. So low blood sugar is a very quick killer. It's faster. It kills faster than the high blood sugar. So it's very dangerous. Most people go into coma. So that's why in the hospital we monitor them very often. They did another machine that you don't need to be pricking. Most people are not going to imagine pricking people so often. This one I have will be pricking as often, but just for check. But that one is usually connected to them and checks them constantly because they need to be monitored. Their values are usually changing. So that's basically what blood sugar is. Blood sugar is necessary and you get it from most of our food. Most food we eat in Nigeria, it has sugar, glucose in it. All this gari, rice, and the rest. So that's why most people who come down with diabetes find it difficult to live as in food to eat. So if you observe them, they're usually very slim. They can't have weight because they are avoiding a lot of things, eating a lot of fruits too. So they only eat some certain fruits. So that's blood sugar for us, the amount of glucose in our blood. So when we eat, the body takes in a part of glucose. It stores some in the liver. That's why some are being used up in the body. The brain needs sugar. That's why once the sugar is low, the first thing that starts is confusion. So one of the signs of low blood sugar is the person begins to become confused and become unconscious immediately, going into coma. And then they begin to start rushing sugar, this saline, what they call it, glucose for the person. So the person will begin to get himself. So why now we'll be wondering why teachers are at risk for these blood sugar challenges and fluctuations. First is that our work can be very demanding, long hours standing sometimes, and then sometimes because of you want to eat. That's why most of my used to remind this part, be eating. She says she wants to burn her weight because you can just get engaged, teaching. Before you know it's 12, before you know it's 2, you get, and you have not really had a good meal. So skipping meals too can cause this fluctuation and can also affect us. Then also because we are tired sometimes, we can get home and just, as we are even going on the road, just buy snacks, eating junk food too, and also cause this sugar fluctuation. Most teachers, it was discovered that most teachers snack on all this Coke, Fanta, and all these fries, so that they can just get going. They don't have that strength. They don't have that strength to cook and the rest. So eating late night too is another thing that can also affect eating late night. That so those are the causes. Some persons is hereditary, but if it's hereditary, you would even know from childhood. They have little children that will manage with insulin because from childhood they are like from their family they have this diabetes issue. They call that one type 1. So that one now their insulin is not producing because you know the pancreas is an organ in the body that produces insulin that helps to balance the sugar in the body. push the sugar into the muscle so that they will use them. So when those people now, their insulin is not working, their pancreas is not producing anything. But the type 2 own is that the pancreas is producing, but it's not enough to conquer the sugar. That means the person's lifestyle, taking too much sugary things, has overcome the ability of the pancreas you get to manage the sugar. So the person start having. But the most common one is this type 2. This is the most common one in the hospital is the type 2. But the type 1 is there, but it's very rare. You see them from children. They are very small. You start giving them insulin to manage, and they must take that insulin. There was a case that went rampant on the news. A girl died. She's in university. Imagine her parents have managed her up to university. So she forgot her insulin because that insulin has to be preserved in the food. Although modern days that they produce something that you can walk around with, that can work as a fridge. You get to cool it, but it must always be cool. If it gets hot, it will spoil it. It's just like passing. So she left it in her room and she said she misplaced her key. She was begging the porter, please help me open my room. I needed this thing. Even as friends and roommates were begging. Porter said no, she must produce 200K for misplacing her key. In front of the porter, because that thing it kills so quickly. Because it was before you know she just entered came and that's the girl just died. So there was riots in the school, that music and the rest. They also said they would put the woman to prison for that. What kind of woman had she had? She was even watching the girl growing weaker and weaker. She didn't even try to open the place. Just to open inside, they get the insulin and just give her. So that is how bad blood sugar fluctuations can be. So what are the signs of high blood sugar? High blood sugar, frequent urination, and it's usually at night. One day I was very curious when I was urinating. I had to even caution some people living near me because they were urinating and little drops on the ground. These sugar ants were touching. I said somebody's sugar is extremely high. For the thing to be showing in the urine is that high, and they should start watching it. So frequent urination can be a sign. Although there is another type of diabetes that is not connected to sugar, but also has to do with frequent urination. Excessive thirst. The person is always feeling thirsty, having to drink water and urinating very often. Then the person is experiencing fatigue, always tired. Even very early in the morning, I just woke up, they are still tired. Now, blood sugar, you know it is in the blood and it goes to other parts. The places it affects mostly is the eyes. So they begin to have eye issues. It can lead to blindness in the long run. So they begin to have blood vision. It affects the eyes. And then, you know this one very common. Maybe you've seen somebody who suffered diabetes. The wound they refuse to heal. That is when most of them come to the hospital. My friend's mother, they cut her leg. That was last year November at the Tokedi water by SRJ. We had battled with this wound, dressing it twice daily, giving all kind of antibiotics, even the strongest ones we knew, but it wasn't working. Why? Because the sugar was the problem. It wasn't well controlled, and she neglected herself. So as much as we believe in God and we believe in miracle and belief, all these things still need to be done. She was going to prayer houses. Meanwhile, we were questioning her, take your drugs until the wound started. And the wound, those people easily get injured because another thing the sugar does, it numbs the nerves. So they start feeling numbness. That numbness makes you not even know when something pricks you. They won't even know they are good. With you that will not feel that something is smelling. The wound is already smelling. It was a daughter that came back and saw that the house was smelling. What is smelling? Now look at the leg, now snapped it and sent it to us in school. They now say, oh yeah, rush her to the hospital. That was how the whole battle at the end of the day when they cut the leg. The thing almost took her life. So as they cut the leg, so they recovered. Now she's better. They do an official leg for her. So low blood sugar, the signs, we have dizziness, shakiness, dizzy. This one is it kills faster. Dizzy, the person becomes very dizzy, like almost always feeling weak, sleepy. Yes. The person will be shaking. The person is to even stand or something. My late uncle, I noticed that for him to take food from his hand to his mouth, that shakiness is there. That they call it tremor. The hand will be shaking as well. Sweating profusely is there. Sudden hunger. Then when it is excessive, the person goes into mental confusion. He's not conscious of his environment. Coma. That's what's happening. So these are many things. There are some myths that people have. Myths, that's MYTA. That's something that are not true. You want to deal with facts and not things that are not true. So I'll ask this question and I'll get our response while we round up. Is it true that only overweight people get diabetes? People waiting. No. Because they have seen slim people. Thank you very much for the answer. Slim people also have diabetes too. Yes. not just that obesity contributes more to it, but that's lifestyle. Number two, is it true that once you feel fine, your blood sugar is normal? No. Thank you so much. Because this keeping sugar thing, it's very subtle. It's very subtle. To me, it's accumulated. This lifestyle issue, type 2, is becoming too rampant. So if you can curb it by checking certain things in our lives, it will help us a long way. Number 3, sugar alone causes diabetes. True or false? False. There are certain factors that can cause diabetes. Like I mentioned, that some people, it is just hereditary. They came to life with that issue and they are struggling with it. And those people, for their lifetime, they will be on that insulin. So they kind of get it for them. There are packs that help them carry it along. So I'll be quickly rounding up with the prevention tips. So first thing, do not skip breakfast. I know it sounds strange, but if you are fasting, it's different. That except you are fasting, but if you are not fasting, fasting is not always. But if you are not fasting, do not skip breakfast. I'm explaining and I'm practically talking to teachers. Do not skip breakfast. Because some of us feel, well, skipping breakfast. And another thing I learned is recently about a research they did is that people feel they are eating healthy, but then they are surprised that they are having issues with sugar level. So let me just explain with this rationale. If you eat too frequently, look at what happens when you eat to the stomach now and it's not getting down to the intestine. Your body releases, because there's a connection between the small intestine and the pancreas. So they release the insulin to now help reduce collect some of the sugar, glucose into this from the blood now into the muscle so that it will be used up. Because if you get into the muscles, you burn it out to reduce. So now, if you eat, let's say you eat by 7 or say 8 o'clock, and then next thing you've eaten maybe good vegetable soup and whatever, then that is healthy meal. And then you're not snacking on maybe banana and granite 2 hours after. And you are snacking because the study showed that the range between the peak when this insulin will complete its job and be reduced in the body, it takes about 2 to 3 hours. So if you eat in between, you get that the study is advising that we should at least give a space of 4 hours between each meal, because the more insulin is high in the body, excess you are causing the body to produce, because each time you are eating, you are triggering the brain release insulin, so insulin will be excess high. Over time, it leads to what they call insulin resistance. That's when it happens that the insulin is no longer working. The person now starts to drop into high sugar, because now the insulin will be in the blood, but it's no longer, you have used this thing too much, it's no longer catching. So it's an advice that we space our meal 4 hours. In between, you can just be drinking water, but eating too frequently, though healthy. I know somebody now that is going through this, but I noticed I've often advised her, but she's trying to balance it. She's always snacking, but she's snacking until she feels that, well, it's not granules, it's not this, but you always catch her eating. And that's frequent eating. Causes that she's struggling, although she's not yet the level of insulin, she's just taking all these diabetic drugs, but it's really, really affecting her. So lastly, take a walk, activities. I believe our teachers will engage in exercise somehow. Standing, talking, looking around. Talking is the major exercise. It's also mental exercise, the mental exercise that can drain someone. Then I've reduced sugary drinks. When my mom told me, she was surprised, like really, some people still take all these things and it's really, really not healthy. Like he mentioned, 7 cubes of sugar in a cup bottle of Coke. But you can't get that much sugar even if you eat 2 wraps of coffee. It's complex carbohydrate. Unlike this one that is simple, that easily rushed into the body. If somebody is going down into coma, that is the sugar level is dropping. Just a sip will give the person of that Coke. You don't keep it for emergency. It will shoot up. When you think about your body, you are still healthy. You're not having that concentration. So reduce sugary drinks, choose water as alternative. Because that study too shows that one of the signs of insulin resistance when it's speaking is that there is always sugar craving. Somebody is always craving for sugar. If you're not taking sugar, you're not eating. It's a sign, it's drawing you into a problem tomorrow, which is diabetes. So we should avoid it. Manage stress, eat well, and you can check your blood sugars often as possible. If you notice any changes, some people do it once in 3 months, once in 6 months, but people that do it often are those that already notice some obvious changes and need to monitor, or those on the job, because the job kind of, if you're on the job, you must check every day if you're taking the drugs. So that's it. Thank you so much for your time. I'll quickly check so that we can go to class. So I will give a call to note if you are using these values, right? If you notice yours is high, just a call to action so that you can make some lifestyle adjustment. Does not mean that checking your values being high, they are diabetic. No. But the awareness, this awareness campaign helps us to know so that we begin to watch our lifestyle. It should not get to the point where you now have a wound that refuse to heal before you now start healing. That's when some people get to know that they ever had high sugar. And meanwhile, the state of their wound, the doctor is contemplating cutting their lung. So, and it's not good. We don't really want to. It's really rampant among women. You have to be sincere in our wards in the hospital. Although some men, but very few, but mostly women, come down with this. And when the doctors did the research, they said it's having to do with our hormones. All these hormonal changes also continue. So just natural. That's why more women should really put it in check. So people that will be doing the check, it will be a little prick, but it will not cause so much pain. What she saying? Obvious.
Inside the kitchen.
Inside the kitchen, wow.
No woman in that kitchen.
Okay. So I'll be using this to break. What the kids said, but they bring it out now, everybody eats. Miss Patiala. Nami wants that. Yes,
You are the head.
sorry, it's quick. I don't know. Don't bad without it.
There you go. How long is what?
Is it your business? Now your blood, now your sugar.
I'm wearing 12 points. Jesus.
15.
15.
I'm the head. I'll be surprised. Mrs. Oh, pass my own. Me, they see. Me, say, I even said, did you show her?
13.8.
Ah. Where are you going? Yes.
Come now, about to be studying most schools and 3. Yeah, next 2 days, what the thing about which? What's your who won the mass? Who is that person that's entering there? One woman entered, that is what was happening.
See my children. You don't have to. Okay, you don't have to.
You don't have. So what's the bag of lunch bag?
8 points or 6 points. I forgot. It's still normal. So you can show it around. It's like a 20 point. About 20. They will see. If it's the one you know you are.
Nothing like that. Me almost sad she said, I don't have any. Me, I haven't taken what I saw it me let them
Later she will return.
something is fishy maybe.
No, put it in dustbin now.
Maybe the blood that they don't come out. The blood reduce the comments.
You asked me, teacher, I asked me. Mimi, come on, end your life now. Miss Pat, Miss Pat, you're very sure.
So that matter, it doesn't show dots, but it's a part. So I was 14. Now I'm trying to do it. Okay, when you check,
The hand is 5.5.
so that means you need to also check when you're eating at
Yeah.
this. But I told my people that when I was in school, checking myself, I didn't get beyond 4.6. But I checked myself this morning, I was seeing 7.6. So I,
Is it painful?
I told you the family is 30, but that day, last time if I collect the 25, the prayer is not get all of this. It will see the amount is 28. So with the 28 now, the payment, relatives and examination, that is subsequent. So if you pay the 60 now, that's Can we go?
yes ma'am, yes ma'am. I don't know if you have any question. I checked is 14, not 10.
Me, I know my own.
It cannot be that high.
I don't take mineral. Anybody's give me, I'll give to Mom Dash. She's my witness. She'll sell it for me. Don't take mineral.
Your mind.
It's fine.
It's not bad.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you.
So I told her last night. So I told her last night.
So me that thank you so much.
But no interference. So ito na.
Are you your partner too?
The one.